Hey guys, for this project you're going to be restoring an old black and white photo and colorizing it. So I'm going to upload this photo so those of you who don't have an old damaged photo can use this one. It's a pretty good one to do because you have lots of different places to add color to it. So first thing I do when I have this is I'm going to go ahead and crop it. I'm going to get just rid of the border. There's no real reason for that. Okay, so I'll crop this photo, and then I'll bring back up my layers, and I always want you guys to make a copy because I want to see the before and after. So don't do anything to the original version. That way I can kind of see what's going on. That includes any images that you guys are using. When you find an old black and white photo, you can scan it in if you have one that you want to use, but make sure you scan it in and it's a good size image. Don't use a little tiny wallet photo because it just won't look very good. So what I'm going to do first is on this one, name this, fix, and come in here, and the tools you're going to use for this are, basically cloning, and you can use some spot healing, maybe a patch tool, healing brush. It's really a combination of these. So I still am a big fan of the old school clone tool, but if you want to play around and try like the spot healing brush, and what you're going to want to do is zoom in to the area that you want to fix. So let's go and zoom in kind of in this area so we can fix his pant leg. So try the different tools out a little bit, see how well they work. See, that one, not so much. So you can try, the healing brush tool. Click a source, and with the healing brush tool you can actually pick somewhere over here, hold down your Alt key, and then you can see what it's going to look like if you just kind of scroll over it and you click once. See, that didn't work so well. So usually what I'll fall back on is just the plain old cloning tool. Okay, and I'll find some area that's kind of nice, like down over here, select a point, and then just kind of go over it. And you see that worked a lot better. And I'm just Alt, and then clicking, Alt, click. And you just kind of touch it up. And you can also play around with the flow and the opacity. Try to get it so it's a little bit smoother. Sometimes I'll just dump the opacity down a little bit. Kind of just click. It gives it kind of a softer edge. Find a source that works. Okay. Now, like up here, this would be a good place to try the patch tool. Okay. So you select an area that you don't like, and then drag it down, and it gets rid of it pretty good. Okay. So try that on some of the larger areas. You can try it. Like right here, it'd probably work pretty well. Just grab that, move that down here, and it gets rid of it. I'm hitting Command D to deselect it. Okay, like here, it'd probably work pretty well. Okay, then you got some rough edges around here and here, and that's where you'd have to grab your clone tool and hold the Alt down and just kind of touch it up a little bit. I'll also get textures. Now here's the thing, a lot of students will go in here and they'll try to get rid of, like, if you look at this kid's leg and his knee and you see that there's some grain here, we want that. That's good. That's why we like old photos, because they're nice and grainy. What you guys are going to be looking for is like the scratches here, maybe some of the stuff that looks out of place, like this little white mark up here. Let me reduce the brush size. Plus, if you guys are wondering how I enlarge and reduce brush size, I'm using the bracket keys on the keyboard. And grab that. Get rid of that. The obvious places you're going to want to do it. But don't try to get rid of all this little grain inside of here. Okay, we like to keep that because that's the good stuff. That's what makes an old photo look good. So, use a combination of tools. I've had a few students get a little frustrated over here. Here's the hint, guys. You're going to actually have to rebuild these bricks. So, and with this column, you're going to have to rebuild it coming down this way. Okay, I've actually seen students grab a section of this, put on its own layer, and then rotate it. But I like to see what you guys do. Like back here, don't try to get rid of all these tiny little spots. You know, some of the bigger noticeable ones you might want to try to get rid of, but you know, don't freak out and try to get rid of every little piece of grain. Now here you'll see a big area, and you can see it's different from the rest of the photo. This one has a lot of noise and dust on it. So what I like to do is go in here and I just grab the lasso tool. It's one of the very few times I actually ever use the lasso tool. And I'll do a selection around it. Okay. Then I'll go in here and feather. And by feathering, I'm just spreading out where that selection begins and ends. I'm feathering out the corners of it. And I'll put maybe like 10 pixel, feather it, and then this is one of the areas, if you have a large area with a lot going on in it, you can come down to noise and dust and scratches. Okay, and you can see it really takes care of a lot of that. You look before and after. That's why I kind of feathered it. Like you'd probably want to get a little bit down in here and make a better selection than I did. Okay, but that's a good way to get rid of a large area. So just use different cloning tools. Cloning tools really aren't that hard, it's just patience. You know, you're not going to sit here and say, oh, I'm going to just grab all this and bam, Photoshop's going to automatically make everything good in the world. No, you actually have to do some work. Okay? So, this is how you colorize a photo. I think I'm going to split this into a couple different parts, so it's not a huge file. So, you know, with the cloning tools, touch up some of these scratches. You know, there's some spots here, little black spots there. There's some scratches here. Okay, like this one might be a neat little place to try to grab that and do a filter. You see it gets rid of those pretty well. So the large areas, you know, go ahead and try to run a filter on it, dust and scratches. There is the new tool, the content awareness tool. If you want to try that out, you can. I don't really see it being that used in this type of situation that much. It's really to get rid of something like an object or a person in a background. But if you want to try it, go for it. Like you could select a whole thing here, come up to fill, and use content aware, and hit OK. Yeah, not bad. Add some grass to it, but don't try to do it like, you know, in a person or this. I don't think it's going to work too well. Now you could try it down here to get rid of that, and then edit, fill, content aware. Does a pretty decent job, but you see it kind of blurs it out a little bit and you lose some of that texture there. So play around with all the different ones. I am a big fan of the patch tool. I think the patch tool is a pretty awesome tool. So you can try to use that, like probably like here, and then drag that over there. And then you're going to have to do some touch-up. You can see down in this area you're going to have to touch it up a little bit. You're going to have to rebuild his arm just a little bit, and I'd use the classic cloning tool for that one. But besides that, you know, have some fun. The next video I'm going to come in and I'm going to start colorizing this image. So you'll see two parts to this video.